Hello, I welcome you to discuss a wonderful course, of course, final year course, Transportation Management, MKT 445. And I am Mr. Benedict Iloka, your tutor for this course, okay? MKT 445, Transportation Management is all about management of transportation within the logistics sector. Like we already handled in the previous semester, there are three main elements in logistics. You have inventory, you have warehousing, and then you have transportation. In the last semester, we focused mainly on inventory and the warehousing. In this semester, we are going to focus on transportation management. And to begin, we say that transportation completes the production and marketing process, of course, because it is the only means by which the goods ordered by the customers can be availed to them. Okay, production is not complete until the final consumers have been able to access and use the said product, because it is only by that the manufacturer will be able to generate money or revenue for the product in question. Okay, so transportation is the means by which the manufacturer is able to avail the products to the final consumers wherever and whenever they need them. Okay, so we begin the lecture by looking at what is transportation. Here, in the logistics sense, transportation refers to the physical movement of goods, materials, and people from one location to another within the supply chain. Okay, so whether the goods are moving from the source or from the warehouse to the company, where they are being transformed into final produce or product, or they are moving from the company down to the wholesalers and retailers where customers can access them and use them, it doesn't matter. So once there is a movement of goods, materials, and people from one location to another within the supply chain, and such movement is physical, then we consider it to be transportation. For instance, if you purchase software online, the product in question can actually be downloaded to your laptop without you or the manufacturer having to move it to your location. Okay, that's in that sense it's not considered transportation, because there isn't any physical movement. But a situation whereby the manufacturer has to move the software in its original form from US, let's take Microsoft package for instance, from US to Nigeria, where they are now made available through different technological hubs, then the issue of transportation is raised, because that movement of that software packages from US to Nigeria is actually transportation. Okay, so transportation is a crucial component of logistic process, of course, because that is the only way the products are delivered to the right customers at the right time and in the right condition. Yes, so that is what we have said initially, that transportation completes the marketing process, completes the production process, because it makes it possible for the company to avail their products to the customers whenever and wherever the customers need them. It's also a source of competitive advantage. Why do we say so? Because if your products are not there when the customers need them, then there is the likelihood of switch behavior. Your customers might change from your product to that of a competing or substitute brand. Okay, so in as much as your products are there when the customers need them, then your competitive edge is improved. That is why we say that transportation is important for creating a sustainable competitive advantage in every given company per se. Okay, so they are different. We have been able to conceptualize transportation. Now we look at the different modes of transportation. There are different modes of transportation, and they include road, using trucks or carriages to move products, goods from one location to another. We have rail, okay, we have air or freight, we have water, and of course pipeline. The transportation of crude oil from or other kind of liquid from one location to another is also part of transportation or mode of transportation. Okay, And then the mode which a company uses, or the mode which a company integrates into its operations, will now depend on the nature of goods being transported, okay, and the distance to be covered, as well as other logistical considerations. So, for instance, if a company is into sales of agricultural produce, okay, carrots, yam, cocoyam, fruits, berries, whatever it is, then the likelihood of using air transportation is there, because these are perishables, and if they don't get to the destination within a specific period of time, they might start to decay, they might start to spoil, and as such lose value, or essentially lead to complete loss. So the faster you are able to move them, the better for you, okay? So each mode of transportation has its own advantages and disadvantages in terms of cost, speed, capacity, and accessibility. Okay, when we talk about road, they are easily accessible, the cost is mild, but the speed is slower than that of air transportation, and the capacity, of course, is limited when compared to water transportation. Are you getting the point? Okay, so freight or air is faster but more expensive, of course high capacity, but not easily accessible, because a lot of people cannot afford the cost of using air transportation. Okay, water transportation is affordable but slow in speed, and it has the largest or highest form of capacity, in the sense that it can be able to carry a significant amount of produce from one location to the other, but it's not easily accessible. Accessibility is mild, it's not difficult, it's not easy as well. Okay, so pipeline, of course, the cost is highly affordable. Once you're able to install the pipeline, I don't think there's any other cost again aside maintenance. The speed is fast, the capacity is fast, but access, now an individual cannot be able to construct a pipeline to transport liquid from one state to another. Most of the time these are done by government agencies and other larger corporations. Okay, now we look at the roles of transportation. In logistics, transportation plays numerous roles, and they include route planning. Through transportation, the drivers or pilots are able to determine best route to ensure efficient and effective movement of goods from one location to the other. It also plays the role of carrier selection. The strategy you use in your transportation system will now determine whether you should use freight, air, road, or pipeline. Transportation also plays the role of shipment tracking. Of course, when someone sends you a product from Lagos to Enugu, whether it is by God is Good Transport or DHL, usually they issue you a tracking number which you can use to trace and follow your product from the location where it has been sent to your point of receival. Okay, and finally, it is in the coordination of the transportation process. Yes, because once you are able to define the point of loading and point of offloading, you will now be able to get whatever machinery is necessary for offloading available before the product actually gets to the point of offloading. Okay, so other rules include the fact that transportation helps in managing transport-related costs, optimizing delivery schedule, and ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements, of course. So whether you are using freight, air, road, sea, or pipeline, there are certain rules and regulations that govern such operations. For instance, in case of road, you have to obtain driver's license, local permit, transport permit, and so on and so forth. The transportation system you implement in your business process will now effectively help you to define all these requirements and, of course, engage in it properly in order to ensure effective and efficient delivery of your manufacturing or business process. Okay, so These are the summarized rules of transportation. Okay, now we look at the significance of transportation. Why is it important? Number one reason is that efficient transportation in logistics is critical for achieving timely delivery. It is when you have been able to efficiently integrate a working, effective transportation strategy in your business process that your customers can be able to have your products whenever and wherever they need them. Bear in mind that this is very, very important, because if your products are not there when the customers need them or where the customers need them, then the issue of switching behavior will always come in, especially when you are operating in a developing economy like Nigeria. You have to be conscious of availability and access of your product, and transportation is the only means for you to make it available and accessible. Okay. Another significance is that it helps in reducing inventory holding costs. Of course, instead of the cost of as a manufacturer, you will have to bear a whole lot of costs, including the inventory holding cost, which is all about the cost of keeping the finished products or packed goods in your warehouse, instead of making it available for the customers to purchase. So once the transportation system is there, the implication is that once you finish manufacturing, you get it delivered to the wholesalers, who issue it down to the retailers, and then to the final consumer. So if there is an efficient and effective transportation system, you would not have to bear much in terms of the cost of warehousing and the inventory management overall. Okay. Another significance is that it improves customer satisfaction. Yes, when the products and services, or in this case products, are available whenever and wherever the customers need them. That is to say, the customers can easily purchase your product from the market whenever and wherever they need them. The implication is that they are satisfied, or they will be satisfied, because you are able to offer them what they need when they need it. Are you getting the point? Okay. So Coca-Cola, for instance, if you want to take a Coke, okay, and you go in front of your house, you're able to see a store or retail outlet where you can get it, you will be satisfied. If you are not able to access it, then dissatisfaction will follow. What comes after the satisfaction, or even before the satisfaction? Switching behavior. If there is no Coke, you could go for Pepsi, you could go for ROC, Biggie, and so on and so forth. Okay. And finally, transportation helps in maintaining overall supply chain efficiency. Yes. Once the suppliers have the raw materials, transportation will move it to the company where they are transformed into finished products. Transportation will move it to the wholesalers where they are available for bulk purchases. Transportation will also move it down to the retailers where they are available for unit purchases. And of course, transportation can also get it down to the final consumers for final and actual usage or consumption. So overall, it ensures efficiency. It ensures that things move when they are supposed to move. Are you getting the point? Okay. So transportation plays a significant role in facilitating the flow of goods between suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and end consumers by enabling the smooth operation of the entire supply chain. It is transportation that makes production possible. It is transportation that makes consumption possible. Okay, so imagine you are manufacturing flour, cassava flour, for instance, and after harvest at the farm, you don't have a means of getting the cassava tubes to your processing plant. What will be the implication? You can process the cassava into flour, and of course, customers will not be able to access flour because we haven't processed such. So this is why we say that transportation is critical, is important, is pivotal, is essential, is integral to the production process, and it is the means by which production becomes complete. Are you getting the point? Okay. So having considered the definition of transportation, modes of transportation, roles of transportation, and significance of transportation, we now go into the effect of transportation on economic development. Here, the first is that transportation facilitates trade and commerce. Transportation systems makes it possible to move goods and services across regions and countries, and as such foster trade and commerce. Okay, if you want to move a dried fish from Sokoto to Enugu, you use transportation. If you want to move palm wine from Enugu to Lagos, you use transportation. And as such, once that process is complete, what do we have? Exchange, whereby the seller gets the palm wine or stockfish. The seller gets the money, and the buyer gets the palm wine or stockfish or whatever product it is. Nowadays you can actually be in any state in Nigeria and order products or services from Jumia, Konga, and so on and so forth. Even your friends and colleagues that sell stuff via WhatsApp group, Instagram, and so on and so forth. Once you make payment, they will deliver that to your location, irrespective of where you stay, and transportation makes it possible. Okay, so efficient transportation network provides access to market, links the producers to the customers and customers to the producers. Of course, the linkage is two-way, and support the exchange of goods and services. Okay, so it promotes economic activities, stimulates business growth, and expand market opportunities. Instead of just servicing customers in Enugu, you can actually maintain online presence via Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or whatever social media you use, access customers all over Nigeria, even expand outside Nigeria, like AliExpress and Alibaba and so on and so forth, where Nigerians can actually stay here or make order, or Raimo, and the list goes on. We are in a global village now. Anybody can sell anything to anybody from anywhere, and transportation is the means by which that commerce and trade is made possible. That is why we say transportation facilitates trade and commerce. Okay. Secondly, it enhances productivity and efficiency. Yes, when the raw materials are there as at when needed, then the company will be able to produce the goods or services in time and avail them to the customers as at when needed. Okay, so transportation, a reliable means of transportation, improve the efficiency of supply chain by reducing the cost of transportation, reducing delivery time, and inventory holding costs. Therefore, it enables businesses to accept inputs and raw materials more easily and deliver the finished products to the customers in a timely manner. Okay, so improved productivity will naturally lead to increased competitiveness, higher output, and overall economic efficiency. When a company is able to manufacture the right quantity and quality of product that the customers need and is able to deliver them to the customers at the right place and time, the implication is that the customers will access these products whenever and wherever they need them. Of course, revenues comes in for the company. That is why transportation enhances productivity and overall business efficiency. Okay? It supports job creation. Yeah. Just like any other sector or industry, transportation supports the creation of jobs. Okay. It's a significant source of employment, creating jobs in various areas like logistics, trucking, the drivers, shipping, aviation, railway operations, and many more. Okay. Pipeline maintenance, like the case in Nigeria now, Tompolo and Asari Dokubo, getting billions from government to maintain our oil pipeline. What a failed country. But it's okay. Let us go back to business. Moreover, transportation infrastructure development projects generate employment opportunities in the construction, maintenance, and related industries. Of course, these machineries will break down at some point. They need to be serviced, they need to be maintained, they need to be put back in operation, and then all these are sources of a job. Okay, so job creation contributes to economic growth and improves living standard. That is the linkage between transportation and economic growth. They provide jobs which the employees use to improve their living standard, and of course pay taxes to enhance economic growth for the government. Okay? The fourth effect is that it encourages regional development. If we are able to source the raw materials we need from wherever they might be and get it to the point of production, what will be the impact? Production will improve, development in that locale will improve, employment in that locale will improve, because there is something going on within that locality. Okay, so efficient transportation links between regions, and as such can help to reduce regional disparities by connecting the less developed areas to more prosperous ones. This promotes balanced economic growth, attracts investments, encourages the establishment of businesses and industries in the previously isolated or underdeveloped regions, improves transportation system and infrastructure, can also stimulate tourism. Here, Yankari Game Reserve, Obudu Cattle Ranch, and so on and so forth, which will lead to economic development in areas with natural or cultural attractions. Okay, it's all about the impact of transportation on urbanization. Okay, so that is what we are trying to say here. With transportation, the isolated areas can be able to access resources from the developed areas and use these resources to improve themselves, thereby transforming once rural regions into urbanized areas. Okay? The fifth is that transportation supports FDI. Of course, all these infrastructures, they have to come from certain investors. And in cases where we don't have them, we seek for such investments from foreign partners. Okay? So develop transportation networks, including ports, airports. That's ports in this case, seaports, airports. Reliable road and rail system attract foreign investments, as they are more likely to choose that location because they are able to access transportation and these infrastructures for moving goods, reducing the cost of a transaction and ensuring market access. If there are sufficient transportation systems, then people will be more likely to invest in that area. People will be more interested because they can easily move their goods. You know, this airport rush in southeast Nigeria, almost all the southeastern Nigerian states, with the exception of Abia State, of course, now has an airport. Why? Because they want to make it easier for people residing within that locale to bring in whatever raw material or resources they need for production, or on the other hand, to make it easier for anybody coming to that state from any part of the world to easily get to the states without any fear. The implication is that investors will come because they can easily access their services, they can easily access their production system through a sound means of transportation. So FDI inflows contribute to economic development, of course, because they bring in the capital, the technology, and the expertise needed to improve, to develop the economy of the host state, in this case, Nigeria. Okay? So finally, transportation boosts agricultural and rural development. Efficient transportation systems are essential for agricultural sector because they enable farmers to transport their produce to market in a timely manner, as such avoiding spoilage, avoiding losses. Okay. Improved access to transportation reduces post-harvest losses, yes, because the farmers can move their produce to the market or to the manufacturers who use them and convert them into final products on time. Okay, it increases the farmers' income, yes, because they will be able to sell more as they have a more efficient and effective means of transportation, and encourages agricultural development. When people say that farmers are making money, then they would like to venture into the agricultural sector. Okay, it also facilitates delivery of agricultural inputs like fertilizers and machineries to these rural areas where they are used in the cultivation process. It supports agricultural productivity and, of course, rural economies. So transportation has numerous effects on the development of any given economy. Okay. Now we look at the effect of transportation on global trade. First, we consider the fact that it makes it easier to access and connect market accessibility and connectivity. Transportation networks provide a physical infrastructure that connects producers and customers across different regions of the world, whether you are selling from China to Nigeria or you are selling from Nigeria to China. Efficient transportation system, of course, enhances market access because it reduces the distance. You can travel from Lagos to Enugu within 1 hour instead of the usual 7 hours by road. Okay, so it also reduces travel times because you can now transport huge amount of produce or products or raw materials or resources from one locale to another by using a larger form of transportation like truck, trailer, and so on and so forth. Of course, cost. If you are moving them in bulk, then the cost is cheaper because you will have to pay once for the tow movement instead of having to move them in batches and pay numerous costs to move them from one locality to another. It enables businesses to reach global markets and customers, yes. And improved connectivity will facilitate the flow of goods, services, information, and foster international trade. If you can stay in Nigeria and purchase whatever raw material or resource you need from China to boost your business production, then the implication is that the Chinese that are selling to you will be making money. Why, after manufacturing here, you also make money. So there is a fostering or boostering of international trade between China and Nigeria in that process. Okay. The second is that it is expansion of trade volume. Reliable and cost-effective transportation enables the movement of goods in large quantities over a long distance. Okay, that is the case of sea or water transportation, Maersk, Tex, and so on and so forth, that move large cargoes from China, Hong Kong, Korea, Singapore, Malaysia, Nigeria to all parts of the world. Okay, it allows businesses to engage in global sourcing, yes, where they can procure inputs and raw materials from different countries, taking advantage of a competitive advantage and cost efficiency. Are you getting the point? So mass production and cheaper products or resources in China cannot be accessed by people from all over the world. Okay, what was the implication? The local producers will now have to match the competition, the global competition level, and as such, there is the likelihood of the price of that resource or product reducing significantly to the interest of the purchasers or buyers or companies that use them. Okay, so taking advantage of a comparative advantages and cost efficiency. On the same note, efficient transportation aids exports and then making it easier for businesses to access international market and increase their trade volume. Okay, so here in Nigeria, we export numerous things: cashew nuts, charcoal, crude, so on and so forth. So all these things are possible through efficient transportation system, and as such, with that efficient transportation system, we are now able to increase our trade volume, our supply level, and of course, economy of Nigeria in its overall sense. Okay. So third, transportation has effect on global trade in the sense that trade in perishable and time-sensitive goods are now easier and effective with the use of freight cooling systems, or there are certain containers that have cooling systems where you can actually store some of these our perishable products and move them from one locality or country to another without spoilage. We are now able to engage in perishable products in time-sensitive manner within the global trade. But are you getting the point? Okay, so instead of having to wait for months to move these perishable avocados and so on and so forth from Paraguay or Peru or Cuba to South Africa or Nigeria, the freight makes it possible to have them in these economies, in these markets, within just few hours. Okay, so transportation plays a crucial role in facilitating the trade of perishables and time-sensitive goods like fresh produce, seafood, pharmaceuticals, high-value electronics. Fast and reliable transportation methods such as air freight service and specialized refrigerated containers, you see, like we are saying, makes it possible that these goods can be transported quickly and in optimal conditions to sustain their quality and shelf life. Another effect is that transportation has impact on supply chain integration and global production network. This is because transportation is essential for efficient functioning of the global supply chain and the development of the global production network. Companies can establish production facilities in different countries, taking advantage of factors like lower labor costs and access to specific resources or proximity to key markets. All these are possible because there is a means of transportation for these companies to enter or venture into these markets. In the absence of transportation, it wouldn't be possible for them to get into these markets in the first place. Okay? Then we look at impact in terms of logistics and trade facilitation. Transportation is an integral part of the logistics infrastructure because it supports global trade. Efficient logistics operation, including transportation, warehousing, inventory management, and distribution, are all pivotal for timely delivery and fulfillment of orders as placed by the customers. Okay, so once there is a well-functioning transportation system, the implication is that it will help the company to reduce transit times, minimize bottlenecks, and ensure the smooth flow of goods from one port or one locality or airport or country to another, so that customers can access them whenever and wherever they need them. The two keywords, whenever and wherever the customers need them. Okay. Then finally, transportation is trade competitiveness and economic growth in the global trade, because reliable transportation networks contribute to the competitiveness of countries in the global trade. Countries with well-developed infrastructure and efficient transportation system can attract foreign direct investments, of course, encourage international trade flows, and support the growth of domestic industries. Okay, we have given this example. Once there is a sustainable and reliable means of transportation, then the interest of the investors will increase because they can be able to access the raw materials or resources they need on time and then transform them into products and supply such to the final consumers. So transportation infrastructure investments can enhance the competitiveness of a country. It can stimulate economic growth and, of course, generate employment opportunities for the people that reside within that country. Okay? So today we have been able to introduce this course, which is Transportation Management MKT 445, by defining transportation as the physical movement of goods and people from one locality to another considering the different modes of transportation, which are road, rail, air, water, pipeline, and so on. We also looked at the roles of transportation, including route planning, carrier selection, shipment tracking, and coordination of the transportation process. We consider the significance of transportation to include reducing inventory holding costs, order fulfillment, improving customer satisfaction, and maintaining overall supply chain efficiency. We looked at the different effects of transportation on economic development as ability to facilitate trade and commerce, enhancing productivity and efficiency, supporting job creation, encouraging regional development, supporting foreign direct investments, and boosting agricultural and rural development. And finally, we looked at the effects of transportation on global trade, which include market access and connectivity, expansion of trade volume, trade in perishable and time-sensitive goods, supply chain integration and global production network, logistics and trade facilitation, and finally, trade competitiveness and economic growth. So with that, we come to the end of this introductory lecture, and I do hope to see you as we continue to cover all the scopes, all the course content for this particular lecture. Have a wonderful day.